Hello, all. Come on in. Come on in. I've got.
But for me, it's really, really deep in forgiveness. Self-forgiveness is what this really.
Sorry, I've got this.
As far as I'm concerned, it's got this.
Sorry, I've got this file coming up.
Call it feeling, and by that I don't mean like.
This is interesting.
Been drawn.
I've got my audio playing right now that won't be quiet. So hold on one second. I don't know where it's coming from. Welcome, welcome. Come on in.
Manifestation from heart energy. This is literally called the 21 days of crystal heartenings because it's specifically tapping us into heart opening.
This is so weird. I'm hearing my voice in my. I'm hearing a voice in my head. I don't know if you can hear it. Where is it coming from?
And then incorporate the concept of the solar plexus from which we.
There we go. Woo. I don't need to listen to myself twice. It's all good. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. For those who are here in the now time that this is being recorded live, it's the last day of 2020. Many of you are ready to celebrate that happening. I am here to celebrate with you, but for many other reasons. Let me just get everyone hooked in here. We were having a little bit of issue with getting Instagram hooked up. But I believe they're up now. If you are coming in from Facebook, just another little housekeeping, go ahead and go to streamyard.com/Facebook so I can see your comments live. Where's my YouTube? There it is. Ask and you shall receive. How are we all doing today? It's day 20 of 21 days. I got a pretty powerful stone today. Oh, let me put up a picture for y'all. Let me put up a picture. I think I put it over here. The Super 7. I love this thing. So the best picture that I had to share with you all was was a pendant. I'm actually wearing it. This beautiful pendant. Just to kind of demonstrate the different aspects of this stone. See what I can do for Instagram. Can kind of have you. Eek. It's just not cooperating. There you go. So you can kind of see that beautiful stone. Look at this pretty precious one. Oh, a little bit nice bigger for you. This is 7 magnificent, powerful stones all in one, naturally grown. They naturally grow together in this specific area in Brazil. It's actually said right now that this particular mine where the actual Super 7 exists is now underwater. This technically could be a Super 8, as you could see a little bit of red in there, which would be hematite, which would consider it a Super 8. I'll talk a little bit about that, but I just wanted to get the codes of the beautiful stone up for you as we wait for people to come on in on this New Year's Eve. On the New Year's Eve is what I'm calling it. On this day 6 of Kwanzaa. This Kuumba. Today is Kuumba. It's a day of creativity, which is what we are doing. We're creating our new reality every day of our lives. But the principle of Kuumba reminds us to tap into that aspect of ourselves and to always be the creators that we are. And I love that it's coming in today because, again, many people are reviewing this past year, getting ready for the next one. And the reality is that we want to be living in this state of constant expansion and openness. We want to be doing this every day of our lives. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. Let me bring see how we're doing on Insta. Yeah. All right. Sorry, somebody. Ciao. Hello. Hello, hello. All right. Well, welcome to day 20 of the 21 days of Crystal Heartenings. I am your hostess, Lisa Sadowski, founder of Life's Remission. Where basically I assist women in remission to get past their fear of recurrence and live a life filled with unshakable inner peace and freedom from fear. So for any of you who may have missed what that was kind of talking about, is that yes, I am a cancer thriver. I have had the experience of surviving past the experience of cancer and thriving past it and through it and with it and without it. And so the name is called Life's Remission because the first mission in any trauma, whether it be a dis-ease or any trauma that may have happened in our lives that are creating patterns that are keeping us from moving forward in our spiritual expansion, the first mission typically is to survive. We get into this survival mode to ground ourselves and get connected and collected. And when we do that, the remission, life's remission, once we are stabilized again, is to thrive. So I am here to assist you with the thrivership, the thrivelihood of your life. And this 21 days of crystals is just one way that I'm here to assist with that. I am just simply being a vessel to allow this information to come through that was delivered through spirit in such a beautiful and commanding way. Let's just say that. I wasn't given very many options not to do it. This was going to come through on this day. I was specifically given December 12th, 2020 to start it. Having no idea that it would have taken me exactly through January 1, 2021. So this literally was a beautiful anchoring of this light from these crystals and the heart openings. It's called 21 Days of Crystal Heartenings because that term also came from spirit as meaning heart openings. So each day that we go through with each of these is a different aspect, a facet of the heart that's going to be opening if we choose to allow this wisdom to come through because we are still sovereign and free will beings. So tuning into this heart opening, we allow ourselves to ease through a beautiful process of soul's expansion, which is our purpose. That is what we're here to do, but is also something that is being accelerated right now. We're at a point, as you can tell, with the political climate, with the actual physical weather climate, the state of the earth, of this planet that we live on, the state of humanity as a whole. We are in a space of awareness. I mean, many people would consider it the age of Aquarius. We've returned from a huge cycle that is starting all over again as far as time is concerned, understanding that time, and I did want to write that down because that came through as a powerful discussion. The concept of time as being a construct that we have created on our own. So, and knowing that we are to be here to live out of time. I'm going to get into that. That was a message that came through specifically with this stone. I asked with regards to Super 7, what was the message? Because this isn't one particular stone. This is a really powerful combination of stones to come together on this very day. We're at the precipice of a new, what we call a new year. And for some right now in this moment already are there. So this is just a perfect demonstration as to the concept that time is something we have created. There's someone standing on the other side of the world that is already getting ready to celebrate New Year's, I believe. How many hours are we? Are we close to that? Yeah, I think we're close to 12 hours. So, yeah, but there's basically, we're already in 2021 in certain parts of the world. So this is in this very same now moment. So just to demonstrate that time is a construct that we as humans have created. And so it's time, if you want to call it, refer to that, it's time to release that attachment to the structural architecture that comes along with this construct of time, because what it does is it keeps us functioning in a linear pattern. It keeps us functioning in a straight and narrow, if you will, which focus is very good, don't get me wrong. But it's also important as far as expansion and creating a collective energy and an upliftment of the collective energy. It's very important for us to tap into the cosmic, into the aspect of ourselves that exists beyond the confines of this human body. And when we do that, we realize that we are out of time. There is no time. So some people might hear out of time, meaning like you're going to die, you're done, right? Or you ran. But again, when you're referring to the human construct of time, that might be so. But when we're considering the true aspect of who we really are, when we say running and living out of time, that means we are separating ourselves from the attachment to it. That doesn't mean we give up on it. We don't pay any attention to it. I'm not saying gives all of you excuses to just not be on time for anything, right? But when we are specifically doing this work, we can step out of time and we can get a wider perspective as to what it is that is for us to do in this moment, in this now moment. So we're really being called, and it's through this beautiful stone to remind us to step out of time and into who we really are, into our truth, the essence of ourselves. And just looking into the stone alone, you can kind of feel into this cosmic energy, right? This energy of just scattered and beautiful beauty, exactly as it is, sitting together and being a part of each other, but yet having no attachment to where it lies. There's no perfect construction of how these elements sit together. Actually, there is a perfect construction, but as far as in our linear perspective, it's a little bit, it would be considered in our minds unorganized, yet it is completely organized exactly the way that it needs to be. So already getting crazy. We're already getting deep on y'all. Spirit's already bringing some stuff through. So let's kick in onto this beautiful stone already. Beautiful Super 7. So the Super 7, like I mentioned, it's called the Super 7 because it actually has 7 different stones included within it. They all grow naturally together. And as far as I know, they have supposedly found some mines in different areas, I believe in like Bahia, Brazil, but where this original mine is that contains these actual 7 elements in them, physically in them, in each stone that you get. From what I understand is underwater, it's been flooded. So you may see a lot of supers, people claiming to have be Super 7, but it's actually more like a Super 6 or a Super 5. Because it doesn't have all of the actual elements in this stone. Now, that does not mean that the energy of the Super 7 does not exist. So I brought along this beautiful stone that could be actually marketed as Super 7. As you can see, though, there's barely any amethyst. The coloration actually has there's a little bit of amethyst in it. And as I've studied it, I can see a lot of the other elements as well. This is called the Smoky Super 7 because smoky quartz is one of the stones that is in there. So it's important to verify if you're buying for that purpose, meaning from a pricing standpoint, it's important to verify the contents of the stone if you're going to pay for it as if it is an actual Super 7. That said, if it is called a Super 7 and you trust your resource and you know that it's from an area that contains that, do know that you have access to the energy of the actual Super 7. Okay, so just by even tuning into this crystal right here, though, you also have that access to that energy as well. But from a negotiating standpoint, when you're purchasing these stones, understand that you will want some verification if they're charging really high prices on it. Make sure that you're verifying that all the things are in there, because you don't want to be paying for something that it really isn't, right? So the 7 stones that are in it, we have amethyst. So and I want to say, as far as the energy of this stone is concerned, this is considered a spirit energy. Remember, I talked about we have like the different elements, right? This actually contains all of them, because amongst all of these stones, all of the elements are covered. So, and also one of them, I think it's a rutile and clear quartz are both spirit energy as well. I mean, we literally are getting everything in this stone. It's a great buy, if you will, right? Okay, so inside of, you see the amethyst, the purple is the, I'll show that for you all here. The purple in there is the amethyst, and then that is a wind energy, wind kind of energy. And then there's the cacoxanite, which is like the yellowish, and you can kind of see it in that picture. It looks a little bit more, it's in the background, but cacoxanite is more of a yellowish color stone. And that is, it's more of an inclusion. That is wind energy as well. And then we've got goethite and lepidocrite, which are kind of said to be versions of each other. They grow very, very close with each other. More of a blackish brown and a reddish brown. So the reddish brown you see in here would technically be the lepidocrite, kind of around the bottom here. Wish I had a little, I don't know, my little pointer shows on there, but see on the bottom that you can see those little lepidocrite, but it's more of the brownish reddish, and then the goethite is kind of more the blackish brownish aspect of it. And you can see they grow together. That is, the goethite is, oh, let me put these up for you because I actually put these up so you could see the names, right? You know, these names are confusing. So the goethite and the lepidocrite pretty much grow together, and then rutile, which is actually, it looks like little antenna, is very difficult to see in here, but it is in the stone. Trying to see if I can get a reflection. There is some threads of rutile in this stone. And then the smoky quartz, which gives it more that kind of brownish color, which this one is leaning more towards smoky. It's actually got some, a little bit of clear and smoky in it. But if there's a hue to purple to it, so if you can tell that as well. And the rutile is the spirit. Remember I mentioned the spirit energy. It's the intent of tuning us into the higher elements. And then the smoky quartz is the earth element, earth aspect. And then quartz, the clear quartz, which kind of contains all of this. That's why you'll see some purple, you'll see a little bit of darker colors, right? But the clear quartz is kind of what encompasses all of it. And so those are the 7 elements of the Super 7 stone. It's also called a melody stone. You'll see it called the melody stone. But there's actually, so like I said, it could be a Super 5, a Super 6, a Super 7, if not all those are included. But the Super 8 would be hematite, which typically comes across as a red. You'll see this on even amethyst. They call it red amethyst, like a coating almost. And so you could see a little bit of that on the bottom of that stone. This is actually why I grabbed this one, because it had so many beautiful elements to this. See if I can show you all. I don't know if you can see the... Yeah, it's not going to show for you guys. But let's see. Yeah, I don't think it is. No, sorry. Oh, it's down here. I can't even do it down here. So you can go onto YouTube and you'll see it. I've got a close up on the video for you to see. So so yeah, those are the elements that create Super 7 or Super 8 or whatever. There may be a Super 9. There's actually other stones out there that are more aligned with the teachings or the studyings of Robert Simmons. And he has what's called the Auralite 23 that contains 23 elements. Again, understand what these stones, typically they all grow together to some extent, but to capture one stone that has all of them in one is a little bit more difficult to get and also to certify. To be honest with you, if you see something that you resonate with it and you know how to tap into these stones, I wouldn't be too occupied with it. I would just be occupied if it's a really pricey stone, like I said, that you're making a major investment in. You want certification if you're going to be paying a big price. You want to make sure that those are actually the stones that they say they are, and and that you're, putting out your investment in the right way, I suppose, right? Or not, it's up to you. So, okay. So today is day 6 of Kwanzaa. And so, like I mentioned, these 21 days have been broken down into 3 beautiful teachings or groups of 7, a divine number. I have something on my glasses that is not letting me see right. 1 second. So yeah, there's been 3 beautiful groupings of 7 stones, and at the top of each 7 days, there's been a very beautiful stone that came through. So for day 1, we had celestite. For day 8, we had labradorite. And for day 15, we had Herkimer diamond. Very powerful stones, and very beautiful in the beginning of each of these. So we started this last 7 days with the Herkimer diamond, which is this beautiful magnifier and this gorgeous spirit energy. And so it was perfect that it aligned with the 7 days of Kwanzaa, in honor of a beautiful culture and teachings that was created in order to honor their culture, but also applies to all of those who are here for the upliftment of the greater good. So in honor of that, I was given to bring through each of these principles into these, align them with the stones as well, that they were aligned with the energy of each of these stones. So day 6 is Kuumba. It's creativity. And it's not just, what's beautiful about each of these principles is we're talking about not just the word, kind of like higher, deeper, and wider. We're asked to go deeper into this understanding. And when we talk about creativity, we're talking about to always do as much as we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited, right? The concept of leaving something more beautiful than when you left it, before it met you, right? Before you came into that space. This is so in alignment with what we've been talking about with this concept of this sovereign sanctuary, being the sovereign sanctuary, making sure that wherever we go, that instead of looking for a place of sanctuary, which there was a time in our lives when we needed to do that. There was a time when we were in a little bit more of survival mode, that we really needed to tap into that grounding, and we needed to go somewhere. If we felt like we needed to go somewhere, we would gather to create these sacred sanctuaries. And what is happening right now, at least in this timeline of 2020, is many people are being sent back to their home, sent back to their original place of residence. And a lot of times people are being sent there alone and not being able to lean on the concept of community. We've been separated literally back into our own space. And so what's being called right now, called forth, is to tap into our own sovereignty, our own sovereign sanctuary, the capacity that we are to not only be that sanctuary, well, first of all, to create that feeling of sanctuary, right? And as we do that, as we integrate with that concept, we realize that we are that sacred sanctuary. And then when we take it even further, we realize that we are now to be the sanctuary everywhere that we go. That when we walk into a space, the reason that something like Sauna Mist was created was because I would have my oils that I really were working, essential oils that were healing for me, but I couldn't have alcohol, so I created a beautiful elixir to take with me. I wanted to mobilize the experience of my sanctuary, right? I wanted to take this with me. And so that's why these were created in the first place. And as I did that, I realized that I was in my mind, setting up sacred space wherever I went. And I was basically gridding, right? I was actually going out and imparting this beautiful energy wherever I was, just by this mere intention of setting sacred sanctuary, setting sacred space and clearing my energy and making sure that I was in tune and aware with what was going on energetically within my field. So, and raising it to its highest vibration, right? But the more and more that we do this, we realize that we have the capacity to do this within ourselves. This is the lesson that we are here to learn. And this is the example that we are here to be and to emit into the world. So when we talk about the concept of leaving the community more beautiful than it was, the Kuumba aspect of creating, We are creating every single day. And when we tune into that awareness, understand the capacity that we have to create beyond our wildest imaginings, when we bring that into awareness and go deep within the heart and create from there, we are now, it's just kind of given that much more power to our life's purpose and aligned us with this collective energy, this collective momentum of upliftment of the higher good, of the collective energy. So if we set that intention to leave our spaces that we go to, leave our community better than it was before, this is the beginning of true collective evolution. This is where we really start upping our game, and we will really start seeing a manifestation beyond all of our imaginings before, because when we do it from that heart space, we call forth incredible incredible resources, and the highest aspect, the highest beings, the highest light beings, the highest ascended masters instantly come to our aid to assist with the fulfillment of this mission. So it's perfect that Kuumba comes through for today. I'm really loving that it's aligned with everything else that we're talking about. When it comes to Super 7, this stone in particular has, as you can imagine, it's got all these power stones in it, right? So there's so many different things that it's covering as a whole, but also as a collective. It's a beautiful power stone. This is one of my favorites. And to be honest with you, it took me a while to be able to wear it on the regular. It's a very, very high vibrational stone, and it was really calling forth for me to step into it, to step up to it, because it is a clearing stone. And so if you're in an environment or you have habits that are not serving you, it may be difficult to be around this stone. You might find that a little bit of resistance. So yeah, understand that you're calling forth some pretty high light beings when you're wearing this stone. Yeah, it's a beautiful stone. So we've got, it assists with mental clarity, right? Because we got a lot of wind energy in all these stones. We've got the amethyst and the cacoxenite that are bringing in the wind energy. So that's covering some of that mental clarity, connection with the divine. That's rutile. Well, all of them are really assisting with that, between the quartz, the rutile, yeah, pretty much everything here is assisting with connection with divine, and accessing the spirit realm and unlocking the knowledge and the ancient beings within that. So again, when we step forth with such a beautiful stone like this, understand that we're calling forth the energies and the realms that are coming forward with higher wisdom for us to be imparted into and brought into our field. So this stone really assists with that. High vibrational attunement. Again, these celestial beings kind of really, really resonate with this. Again, that rutile is just a magnificent rutilated quartz, they call it. You'll see, if you can't do a Super 7, by the way, a rutilated quartz is a really beautiful stone. You do clear rutile. And there's, the lower quality ones that aren't so clear or see-through, but they still have some beautiful energy and that direct antenna-like connection to spirit. It's a powerful, powerful, and it's also rutile is an energetic stone as well. So it'll assist with energy, kind of picking up the energy a little bit. It assists with channeling higher knowledge and then integrating it into this earthly plane. So if you're doing a lot of channeling, if you're doing a lot of attunement to these higher aspects, this is a really beautiful stone because it has an aspect of protection to it, while it also really keeps us aligned with that higher vibration. New beginnings. This is a stone of new beginnings. So, interesting that it comes through on the day that it comes through, right? On this day that we're getting ready to envision a new beginning of a new year. I'll get into that in a little bit. I was going to go off, but I know I'll lose my place if I do it. But let me just jot that down to come back to. Let me just, yeah. Because I know I will forget. And then also, so we have enlightenment is with the amethyst. So the amethyst really assists with, again, that higher vibration, enlightening ideas coming through to come through to the crown and bring that wisdom into our mind, into the wind energy of the other stones. And then we have a spiritual awakening from cacoxenite and that clear quartz. Again, that kind of stimulation of the spirit energy. And then alignment with the higher self is what the goethite assists with. That one in particular, just kind of covering some of what they do. Wellness and healing at all levels. As far as focus, we talked about creativity, right? Today is literally the day of creativity. And then also new beginnings. So we want to really tap into that creativity. But the goethite not only assists with the creativity, but it actually assists with focus, making sure that we're focusing to get it done, right? It's great. We have new creative ideas, but if we're not actually bringing them into manifestation, then kind of doesn't really go anywhere, does it, right? So, so that smoky quartz and goethite assist with that, with the focus and the creativity. And then groundedness, again, clear thoughts, retaining that knowledge is the lepidolite. Really good for kind of getting, again, focused in and kind of honing in on whatever the thoughts that are coming through as to what retaining that knowledge that comes through. So that's not, it's not just a fleeting thought. And then the rutile, like I mentioned, this direct connection to source, because of that energetic aspect, is literally like a pick-me-up, is what I have had experience with it of. Accelerated growth and expansion of the mind, body, and spirit. So again, that's where we are right now, right? We're in an accelerated stage of moving forth with the collective expansion. So this is really going to assist with keeping that direction connected, because what happens is if we get in this accelerated state and we become unstable, disconnected, we are not in that centered space of stillness, then we kind of get scattered and our energy kind of gets dispersed, and we get weary and we start losing our momentum. So rutile really assists with keeping that all together. It dispels unwanted energy and even aids in astral travel, for those of you who are familiar with that concept. Understanding that our body, our souls, are doing so much more than this human body could ever understand, right? There's so many aspects to us that we are not even aware of, that are always working, always changing, always evolving. And again, going back to that concept of the quantum web, right? The timelines that we see one timeline, but the reality is it doesn't ever go straight. It's such a winding web of connectivity that if we are open to that concept and tap into that, we understand that why it's so important to stay in the flow. Otherwise, we limit our range of possibility. So when we get focused, when we stay in line with what it is that we're here to do, it automatically, the unwanted energy falls away, and we can travel, we can do whatever we need to do safely, and know that we're not being, no energy is being extracted from us. And this is all with rutile, really, rutile in quartz, rutile related quartz assist with all this. And then building stability in relationships. It's actually, again, this connection, right? So imagine rutile, again, it's hard to see in this stone. Rutile is a little, like, they look like golden pieces of straight thread is what they look like, very straight lines. And they're gold pieces of they look like golden pieces of stone. And so imagine that it's a connection from spirit to us, right? And the same exists with connection of each of soul to soul. So rutile assists with stabilizing relationships, maybe a relationship that's pretty rocky, that is open to better communication. Rutile quartz, each of you holding a piece, would be really helpful. Or if you both had Super 7, it's all done, because it keeps everything together for you. So yeah, that's the beauty of this stone. Personally, I can tell you that, as you can see in the pictures, and I don't know if you can see here, but it's kind of rusted. I've had this for a while. And this stone is, by the way, photosensitive. So keep in mind that if you have a dark purple stone or any of the other stones, there's a lot of deep jelly amethyst in it. Like for me, I'm careful when I wear it in the sun because I just don't want it to. It is photosensitive and it will fade. I've had this for a while and it still contains quite a bit of coloration, as you can see. So yeah, so that's really what we've got going on with this beautiful stone. And also what came through today, and I briefly mentioned it, was the concept of being out of time, or a couple of things that came through. First, this concept of the new year, the cycle, this age of Aquarius, this golden age. There's so many names that people are assigning to this new expansive field that we're in. And it is becoming a trend, okay? It's becoming a trend to celebrate these, which is beautiful. This is a powerful event. It's a time to really tap into the momentum again, just as there are some negative, experiences. There are also positive experiences. We can tap into the momentum, and also understand that when we tap into the momentum, that we understand that that's what we are doing. We are not that moment. We are not that experience alone. There is more to us than that. And so there was a lot that was happening. We had, the full moon energy. There was a lot of energy around that belief system, a lot of astrological alignments that were happening. There was the 1221. There was so many things, so many portals that were happening. And what I'm here and what has really come through is to understand, again, back to this concept of sovereign sanctuary, that you are the portal. Okay. So whether it's as evidenced by a little spirit that's visiting us right now, you are the portal. You don't need a 2600 year cycle to give you the power to do this. You don't need a full moon that looks a specific way at a specific time and place in order to travel or to expand your life, or none of that, again, because it's all surrounded around the concept of time. And again, I got the download of live your life out of time. And meaning not like you have no time, rather that you have so much of it that because there is no such thing as time. We are essential, beautiful beings of pure essence that exist outside of timelines and within them. Meaning we can bring our awareness into this specific timeline and this life's experience of me talking to you in this moment or someone else. But at the same time, the same moment, there's an aspect of myself that is tuning into some different aspects, some other dimensions, some other experience as well. I'm a multifunctional energy here, right? And I'm in this experience right now where my attention is focused, my awareness is focused. My senses kind of rule the program. My eyes, my sense of touch, my sense of smell. Once we are out of the body, we don't have those senses to kind of focus our energy in one direction. We're able to kind of go in all elements, but that is still us. That is still who we are. And so this is just a reminder as we celebrated holidays, right? Certain people were celebrating certain holidays and certain experiences. And at the same time, understanding that all of this is a story, if you will, that we've all decided to agree upon. And while it has served us, this timeline aspect, this holographic world, while all of this has served us, it is also time for us to step out of time, tap into the wisdom that is beyond this reality, so that we can expand and learn even more about ourselves and bring it into this physical experience, right? But if we're locked up into this concept of time, if we're locked up into titles, golden age versus, whatever age you want to call it, Aquarius, whatever it is that your term is that defines what we're going into this, even the year 2021, whatever it is that you want to call it. If we can release the attachment to those labels and understand that on the daily, we are here to tap into this wisdom outside of all that, this is where we break out of the matrix. This is where we break out of the lockdown that we've been in, especially the concept of, 2600 or 26,000, 2600 years, right? The cycle that we said we have moved into, this new age. We've recorded this for eons. We've tracked this for eons, and yet we are still in the space that we are right now. and still needing to expand beyond it. So what Spirit is telling me is that when it says live your life out of time, is saying in order to break free from all the confines, the things that have confined us, in order to break free of this seeming loop cycle of every single year, making a New Year's resolution and then getting to the end of the year and not feeling like we achieved it, or maybe we did, right? But then doing it all over again instead of stepping back into the reality that our only job is to constantly evolve. Change is the only constant in our life. And at that point, it doesn't matter what year it is, how old or how young we are, how able or unable we are by anyone's definitions other than our own. This is where we tap into the expansive aspect of ourselves that has no limitations. And many people say, well, then Lisa, how do you function without time? I feel like I want to sneeze. How do I function without time? I've got things to do. I got to meet people at a certain time. I'm not saying that we don't utilize time as a mechanism to function in our lives. But when it becomes the ruling nature, when it becomes when it controls our life, this is where we need to take step back a second and go into this teaching of living your life out of time, outside of time, so that we can allow this wisdom to come in and say, wait a minute, hold on, remember that this is a mental construct, this concept of time. Again, like I mentioned, New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, somebody's in 2021 somewhere on the world already, and it's the same exact moment. We're in the same exact moment. When we see on the West Coast, I'm on the West Coast of the United States, and we see New York, dropping the ball 3 hours ahead of time, but we're still seeing sun out, right? Or whatever the time of day is that it happens. And it's amazing that you see, or even across the world, you see people, celebrating the new year, and we haven't even gotten to the sundown yet. So this again is, we're living in a time and experience of constructed mental imagery that makes us believe that time exists. And again, if this is too heady for all of you, just tap into the knowing that you are a fully expansive being, and that I'm here to send you codes to tap into that sovereign nature within yourself, so that you are not confined by anything in the world that keeps you from being anything other than the fullest expression of what you're here to be. So that kind of came through as a really powerful message. And this stone really assists with attuning to all of those aspects. And again, stepping out of time and into the true essence of who we are, this expansive being that is here to learn more, and to tap into deep, deep wisdom, both ancestral and even from the future. There's information that we can tap into and even foresee. And some people are more prophets, literal oracles, your oracular nature, to see that which is coming. Again, we don't live from focusing in either of those places. We live in the now, but we have those aspects within ourselves. All that it is. And I will say this very clearly too. I am a very intuitive being. I know anyone that's come into my space has experienced some of the intuitive experiences that I have had, and they've been pretty powerful. But I believe in that. I've studied it and I've practiced it. It is a daily practice that I put into. So to be clear, it is not something that you don't have access to. Nothing that I'm talking about here is outside of the reality that you have the capacity to tap into. It is just that it is where my focus has been. This is where I've set my intention, and this is what I wanted to learn more about. So you too, if you choose to do that, you have this capacity. So understand, if there's any teacher out there, if there's any leader out there that is telling you that you don't have this capacity within yourself, I am a teacher of, and I don't even like using that word, because I am a reminder of truth that is within yourself. And my job is to assist you with learning how to recall this information yourself. I am not interested in handing you a bucket full of fish and having you to enjoy your meal. I'm interested in teaching you how to fish in the ocean yourself, and not only learn how to do it yourself, but then be that example so that others can learn from you. If we do not have this mentality of sharing this wisdom, when we are tapping into spirit, understand there's no such thing as intellectual property, y'all. Okay? So let's just get that really straight right now. We're tapping into, when you're tapping into direct source energy, we're really allowing this deep, deep wisdom to come through. There's no ownership for us to claim, just like you can't claim my soul. We can't claim this wisdom. And so that means that if it's not mine and it's not anyone else's, it's for everyone to use. It's for all of us to have access to. The only thing that makes it different is our perception, how we perceive it. And that's part of the game. That's exactly part of the game, is for us to fully express exactly as we are, and whatever our understanding of that wisdom is, but to be the seeker, to keep seeking a deeper understanding and a deeper awareness and a fuller integration into this life experience. That's what we're here to do. But as far as feeling like if some of this stuff goes over your head or it just doesn't resonate, again, I say relish in what resonates and release what doesn't. It's all good. But you have access to all of this wisdom. I'm not sharing anything that is top secret. There are some realms that you don't want to go into by yourself if you don't have the experience with it, for sure. But does that mean that you don't have access to it? No. And anyone that would tell you that, I really have a question of them, calling them a teacher. Because as a teacher, again, you're here to teach and to impart that wisdom on someone else with the intention of them to go do it themselves. 9 times out of 10, many souls are just, well, I shouldn't say 9 times out of 10. Previously, because I'm not creating that reality going forward. Previously, there was an experience of people who would ask questions, wanted a quick fix, and they didn't want to do the work to actually learn it and integrate it themselves. That is not the majority going forward. The majority is self-accountability, or what the new paradigm going forward is self-accountability, is spiritual accountability. And we're not being given really the option anymore to lean on any other crutches or use the training wheels. The training wheels are off. If you want to look at it as far as being in battle, we're literally at the front line. No time to ask about how to use the weapons of mass destruction. No time to ask about where to take shelter. You just need to figure it out. And I'm here to assist with instilling that sovereign nature within yourself to be able to have the confidence and say, I'm ready. And I may not know exactly how to do this, but I'm ready to start. And I'm ready to evolve, and I'm ready to expand and allow spirit to come through me and be that full expression. I'm ready. Some people, I remember I had an experience. I was kind of going back and forth as to what my spiritual experience was going to be, how far deep I was going to go into this all. And so I had kind of just been lollygagging around it. I was kind of like just not really committing to much. And I had a beautiful dream experience, if you will, in my dream time. And I just woke up like I was shot up in my bed, and I just said yes. And I knew that I was saying yes to spirit in a way that I couldn't take back. Actually, I had set that intention. Like, I'm saying yes with conviction. I understand what that means. And I understand, because I knew that the whole time. I knew that this yes had a lot of work attached to it, right? And so I actually instilled in that yes the assistance of all the angels and all the archangels. There was an awakening that happened within, and an integration that happened, where I actually gave authority to spirit to say, "Don't let me go back." As I know, I understand that I'm a free will being, but I'm asking you and allowing you to come in here and hold me accountable for when I want to just kind of like back off, to keep moving forward and to keep pursuing this. So I'm grateful for that sacred yes, but I do know that, when we say it, it can be a little bit scary. And I'm here to let you know that all is well, all is well. And when you give that sacred yes, you bring forth such beautiful support, such powerful support, and you tap into this beautiful truth of who you really are, which is indestructible, indestroyable. I'm making up words now. So, okay, so let's get into higher, deeper, and wider real quick. So the higher aspect, so again, spirit brought through that for each of these stones, we were going to go deeper into higher, deeper, and wider. This is going to be an interesting one because there's, 7 elements in this one stone, which is really interesting. This is the second stone. The other one that was like this was Septarian, which is also a combo stone. And Septarian I'm just putting this together right now. Very interesting. Septarian is more, has more earth element, more earth energy. It has all the energies, all the elements included in it. But even as you see the stone, I don't have one here, but it's a more earth energy stone, earth integrating stone, right? With spirit, connection to spirit. This one, as you can see, feels more of the higher, it's got more wind energy, even more fire energy. So we're working more in the throat area. Well, the wind air and energy is more in the mental, and then I can't even speak right now. The wind energy is more up here, and then the fire energy is more in the lower chakras, if you will, and more of kind of the embodiment of it. But so this is kind of bridging in a different way that we're seeing both of them. Again, the septarian and this one both had multiple aspects to it, but the septarian is going to ground us deeper into these rooted chakras, and then this one, the Super 7, is going to pull us into these higher, bridge us more into these higher elements of connection to spirit, and we can put those two together. So what we're going to talk about is the concept of higher, deeper, and wider, and looking into what those terms actually mean. So if you've been here before, you're used to this spiel, but basically when we talk about the word higher, instead of using the word higher, which can mistakenly be drawing our attention to hierarchy, higher, lower, right? And we understand that spirit in its fullness exists all around it, is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, always in its fullest expression, everywhere around us, up, down, in between, all over the place. So there is no such thing as higher when we're referring to spirit energy, because it is always in its fullest around us. So instead it says, while from our perspective though, with our mental, we do need to understand, or we want to tap into visually so that we can categorize it in our brains, of higher frequency, higher vibration, right? So instead it asks to look in deeper and say, okay, when we consider going to higher, taking a higher road, looking from a higher perspective, instead consider the word release and ask what can be released so that more may be revealed. So meaning, if we're going to step into this higher perspective and we're going to step into that observer perspective, right? Where we're understanding that we're this beautiful being, and we have an observer aspect to ourselves who can witness the physical nature of our experience, and not be affected when we do so. However, the perspective from the observer standpoint is very much connected to what we release in the physical, meaning what thought patterns are in our mental that keep repeating, that don't serve us. What thought patterns can be released so that more real truth can be revealed, right? So in this moment, the way that the Super 7 can assist us is actually, again, with this direct connection of the rutile. I mean, all of the stones really assist for this. Let me put them back up again. The rutile really assists with that, with helping us to release that which doesn't serve us. When we're that instantly connected to these higher vibrations, automatically that which doesn't serve us can fall away. So all of these, actually, amethyst is excellent for releasing patterns that don't assist us with doing that. Cacoxenite is really good for that, and goethite. All of these stones really assist with that. So this is a powerful stone to make sure we're tuning into and we're seeing that which needs to be released, so that more can be revealed into our mental and can be integrated into our life experience, and can be integrated into our spiritual connection. Okay, so we went higher, and then we talk about deeper is the next one. So instead, again, we don't want to be looking from a hierarchy standpoint, something's higher, lower, in between. Instead, we consider the word rooted, and we ask what truth is calling for deeper embodiment. Okay, so now we're calling forth, now that we have this revelation, right? We've made the release. We've seen what wants to come forward. We're now seeing new truths that want to come forward. And then we look at that and we say, now, which of this truth, which of these truths is calling to be more deeply embodied in this body, this physical body? What is it, the truth with a capital T? What is this wisdom that I keep getting a reminder about? And I know is true. I know it is true. And I even tell people that I know it's true, right? but that I'm probably not practicing, that I haven't integrated at a level to where I don't stop reminding myself. I just needed to remind myself of something. So what truth, now that we've released that which doesn't serve us and we see that which does, which of those things can I more deeply embody into this body? And when we are working with Super 7, the way that Super 7 is particularly here to help us with that is to tap into some of these habits, again, especially with the amethyst and the specifically the amethyst, I would say the smoky quartz are here to kind of allow us to get grounded and to clear away all those things that don't serve us, but also give us a sense of confidence and energy to really see what needs to be embodied, what I need to take action on, right? And practice more. So what can we do to do that? That's how this stone assists us with. There's so many elements here that are assisting with getting into that state of mind of embodiment, right? And almost like a preamp before the action. What's giving us that little oomph, right? Before we actually take that action. So the rutile is excellent for that too. Again, that energy to say, yes, I'm ready to take this on, right? And commit to that. So once we've gone higher and deeper, then we look at wider. And this is where the action actually moves forward. And we say, looking from a wider perspective, what needs to be included? Look at the word inclusion. What needs to be included in my field in order for that new truth that was just revealed to me, right? In order for that wants to be embodied, what opening wants or needs to occur in order to assist with my spiritual expansion and ascension? So what can I include into my field that I have maybe been excluding previously, right? So we covered like what needs to be released, but now we also need to see what needs to be included. What is it that we've been cutting out of our lives? We're covering all aspects, all the little corners of our tricks in our mind that we've created a pathway to kind of navigate around the things that we don't want to do or we just don't want to look at. Spirit's saying, nah, I'm getting right past all of that. We're going to go higher, deeper, wider, which is actually release, rooted, and inclusion. What opening wants to occur in order to assist with my spiritual expansion and ascension? What can I include into my field that I have excluded and been really good at keeping it hidden away? Suppressed memories, suppressed experiences, suppressed relationships, actually keeping people physically out of your space, which again, may be necessary, but what is the lesson that they were calling forth? That doesn't mean that you need to bring this person back into your field, but what is the energetic undertone that you're also excluding by keeping them out of your field that needs to be called forth in order to assist with your spiritual expansion? Because understand, again, that which we resist persists. So even if someone was representing that energy and we've cut them out and it's so abusive that it needs to stay that way, understand that there's still a lesson there that is going to keep repeating itself until we learn it, we see it, and we actually receive it as a blessing. Again, I'm not talking about the abusive aspect to it. I'm saying that there's a lesson, something in there that put us in that situation, that even though we may have cut that person out of our lives, if we're not going back to it, when we are in a stable state, again, we don't do this when we are not in a stable state, when we are not connected to our pure essence. We don't have we don't go into any of this information until we know that we are centered. Because from that space, we're getting the real answers and we know it's divine guidance at that point. So again, we don't want to bring in anything into our field that when we are not in that connected state. We don't want to bring in more drama when we are not in that state of awareness and knowing what to do next. Because when we are in that space, then we're given immediately beautiful ease and grace as to how to conduct ourselves in those experiences moving forward. And so, like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean that we bring people back or bring experiences back into our life. We may have needed to do that for a specific reason, but that doesn't mean that we don't go back and realize what was it that brought that pattern on? What was it that allowed that energy to be in my field? And what was it that created a toxic experience, right? And what can I do? What wants to occur? What opening, what heart opening, what aspect of my heart, what facet of my heart has been closed down and is now ready to expand? Okay. And this is where, you know, from the amethyst perspective, again, or from all the stones here, we're really hovering around. It's all like a protective, all of these stones are all around the heart energy, like a protective field, right? But also not protective in the sense that we have a wall around us, but rather a centeredness that is here. So all of the different aspects of Super 7 here can assist us with this feeling of confidence, of centeredness, of connection to spirit, and knowing that whatever divine guidance comes through, we know we can follow through with and take action with regards to embodiment of these teachings. So that's higher, deeper, and wider with all those beautiful stones, the Super 7. So, and yeah, I think the other thing that was coming through was the concept of being the reminder. Again, this concept of time, right? We forget that we are divine beings. We forget all the time. As many times as you've heard that there's no such thing as time, or that we are living in a holographic image, whether you believe it or not, the reality is that even if you believe them or not, those things kind of fall out of our awareness so quickly because the program runs so deep and we are constantly forgetting. And whatever beautiful, you know, insights you may have received within these 20 days up till now, and then one more day tomorrow, the next step is to actually practice them and to make sure that they're integrated. Again, I keep talking about integration. These have been heart opening activations that have happened every single one of these days. Each crystal brings forth a different opening of a facet of our heart space. So while this may be some beautiful revelations that have come through, understand that there's a repetition. There is a beautiful soul sister of mine was talking today specifically about the concept of repetition, of making sure to repeat these things, these teachings. They are, again, I'm not saying anything that probably isn't within the confines of what the understanding of your human brain already. I'm not bringing forth too far out there truths. This is truth that exists within all of us. The problem is that we are in a program, we are in a matrix, we are in a program that literally consistently setting us up to forget. And consistency is what we need, but consistency at a higher frequency, right? And so this is why we practice every day. This is why something like this, an entrainment of 21 days is so important, because we're getting in the habit of that feeling of connecting to spirit and knowing what it feels like to be divinely guided. When you're doing something like this, if you've actually gone through these days and you've stayed with me through all this time, there are new neural pathways that are being created to get away from the old programming. You may have noticed the way that you look at certain experiences of your life may be shifted a little bit. It takes about 21 days to establish a habit. So this is why this is really important this is going to work to allow this to integrate into the body. That said, you still need to practice afterwards. We still need to make sure to remind each other that that's who we are. So literally when we say remember to remember to remember, right? I am bringing out this remembrance in you. I am calling forth through divine spirit. I'm just being the vessel for this reminder to come through. But in doing so, I am reminding myself. And in practicing this, I am reminding myself. And as much as I am deep into this, as much as I've practiced this, I'm still needing reminders myself. So understand that moving forward, as we go, into the next iteration of what's coming for this next year for you, for this next 20 years for you, or however many years are physically left for you in this particular lifetime, understand that we're now here at a point where we can so easily forget. That said, we have actually integrated so much more of this wisdom that we can't, there's a certain point we can't go past now. We can't go back to a certain, we've passed a beautiful line and a boundary. And there are still going to be people that are going to try and go back to that. The collective has already moved forward though. So from that perspective, we're good. But in order to continue this expansive experience, in order to continue evolving, we need to be that reminder to each other. And we need to remember that sovereign sanctuary that we are. And this is why it's really important to get the teachings or the learnings or whatever you want to call it of each of these days, of the 21 days of crystal heartenings, because this is literally an entrainment to get you in the habit of this practice of tuning in to the aspect of yourself that is eternal, that is infinite, and knowing that when we do this on the regular, we can always go back to it. And if we've done it long enough, even if we forget for a brief moment, this is enough of an entrainment to go, oh yeah, I just need to kind of go back and tap into that aspect of myself. And let me just kind of pick up a crystal. Maybe it'll remind me. But understand that that evolution is happening right now and it's integrating in the body. That is the intention of these 21 days. And also understand that we're here to be reminders for each other. And we're here to actually reflect that truth within ourselves. And so understand that you have this power within, and also know that sometimes we can forget. And that's what I'm here to do. That's what I offer. That's what I have. My mission has been to be the reminder for you, and in turn, reminding myself, right? So making a practice of it so that as I'm called forth to step into my highest and greatest in order to be present for you, please understand that the energy it takes to put each of these days together, for me personally, has been quite the journey. And I'm happy for it. I'm glad for it, but it does take time and energy to put together. So, that's that I put this much energy into it, and I still forget. I still have to remind myself. I've still had experiences where I drop out of that remembrance. And so it's really important to have people around you, a community who will remind you to tap into that, call you out when you're forgetting, or if not even call you out, just kind of be that representation of the remembrance. That's the best way. You want to talk about the best form of evangelism? Be the change you want to see in the world. Affect your environment instead of being affected by it. That is the ultimate form of evangelism. If Jesus, Yeshua, actually came here to teach anything, that's what he came here to teach, is that lead by example. Be that change you want to see in the world. And if we can step into that truth about ourselves and reflect that upon each other, we have hope yet. There are many things out there that are making us feel like the world is in shambles and so many things are going so poorly right now. But just please know that there are too many of us out here that know otherwise and are making a commitment to be that reminder to each other, and would love to be the reminder to you. So moving forward, please know that I'm here for you for that. And I'm going to make more of a concerted effort to be more consistent online. I'm consistent in my practices, but I have not been as consistent online. So part of this was an entrainment for me to do that for you all, and make sure that we've kind of got this momentum. We continue it. So with that said, I'd like to get started with a beautiful meditation to tap you into this powerful energy of Super 7. Let me blow this up a little bit. Tune into that beautiful. I wish I had no, I'm good with it. It would just be nice to have a bigger stone, I suppose, but it served me so well exactly as it is. So let me get you all focused on this beautiful, let's see here. And there's beautiful stone. You can get it that way. There we go. Hopefully it'll stay. Ooh. Feeling into this energy, y'all. It's coming through. We got a powerful, powerful arsenal. Oof. Goodness gracious. Just kind of tune into the beautiful vortex of energy that's coming through right now. Just allowing it to come through. Calling forth the highest aspect of everyone on this call, in the now moment, in the future now, in all timelines and dimensions. Declaring and knowing that only the highest love and light is all that is allowed in this sacred, sovereign sanctuary. that only the highest light beings, ascended masters, can exist in this field. Anything less than that is sent back to source, raised to its highest vibration, and transmuted into love. For love is all that there is. And just tuning in right now to many facets of this beautiful energy of Super 7. And just imagining yourself floating in the energy of all of the elements that have to come together just for you, for the sole purpose of upliftment of your soul. Taking a deep and expansive breath, all that you are. And releasing that purified energy. Sharing it with the world. Feeling into the gratitude of all the celestials, ascended masters, the avatars and light beings of the highest light. Reveling in this pure intention to connect with them all. For if there were a dream state for these higher beings, this would be their dream. To simply connect with you. At a soul level, for you to be so awake that you hear the music of the spheres, you hear the wisdom that ebbs and flows throughout the network of this web. This web of infinite timelines and dimensions. This quantum experience. Where possibility is unlimited. Infinite possibilities for where to go next. Infinite possibilities for your soul's expansion. Understanding that we are even further beyond any of your wildest imaginings or dreams. This is a field of creation with no limitation. For in this field, there is no attachment to any outcome. It is surely, just sheerly the experience of joy in creating. Bliss in being a creator. just for the sake of creating. Understanding that as we do so from this beautiful connected state, expansion naturally occurs. Integration takes place. Healing intertwines with our life experience. As we float in this reality, we realize we're floating out into this beautiful void. A pure stillness. Sitting in that stillness, we will allow some time of silence in order to integrate this stillness even deeper. Relish in the silence. As this beautiful silence is broken, we tune in to this field of infinite possibility and are called to focus our energy to one particular point. Perhaps you see a color or a spark, or you feel a physical reaction in some part of your body. Draw our attention to that space. And we realize this is the space where we'll focus our energy for the next level of our expansion. As we focus our attention, just calling forth healing, love, ease, grace to engulf this place of awareness. And just simply reveal what is next to come. Realizing that the answers for the next steps exist within the heart field, the heart space. And as it is now aligned with the solar energy of the sun, we understand that clarity has come with direction as to what it is that will really serve our highest and greatest good. Remembering what our soul is calling forth in this new iteration of our soul's expansion. Having no attention as to how to get there or what needs to be done next, only just tapping into the frequency of faith, knowing that it is done already. For that which is divinely guided simply is. Bringing this beautiful revelation in through the crown, integrating it into the mental, the remembrance of this emotional undertone connected to the heart, aligned with the solar plexus, cementing in another deep understanding of the truth of who you are. And energetically standing upright into this sovereign sanctuary that you are. You are the change you want to see in the world. You are the love you want to see in the world. Be it. And know that you are loved. You are supported. You are whole and complete. Giving such deep gratitude for all the ascended masters, these beautiful light beings of highest light who have come forth and assisted in this sacred sanctuary that is set, and this beautiful messaging that has come through, this wisdom that is now fully integrated in each of those who have been in this call, in the now and the future now, all timelines, all dimensions. Delivered with an ease and grace beyond our human imaginings. Feeling into our fingers, our hands, to the body, our toes, our feet. Grounding back into this beautiful body, this gift of life. Opening your eyes if you have them closed. Welcoming you back whenever you're ready. Welcome back, everyone. Knowing that that was a beautiful transmission. Hoping you felt into that beautiful energy that came through. Just kind of grounding in myself. So yes, welcome everyone back. And we've got one more day tomorrow. It's the perfect stone to end with. Again, it was so divinely guided, the ending. And it was interesting because I actually had more than 21 stones that initially came through. And as I was going through to clarify what those 21 stones should be, and we ended on what tomorrow's stone is, it literally just fell into place. It wasn't originally the last stone. And as we've gone through these 20 days, I understand why. And it's just such beautiful, divine experience. So grateful for that. I will see you tomorrow. Please make sure and stay in touch regardless. I have, if you had any value in any of this, if there's something that has served you throughout these days, I do have a Patreon account finally put up that I would greatly appreciate support for. All the different adventures that are coming my way, coming your way. There's more to come. And it's going to be an interesting ride, but financial support would be highly appreciated right now, especially during this time. So if any of this served you, if you want to have more of this, definitely jump onto the Patreon account. This month of January, at this point, there won't be a consistency with the videos, but I will be keeping the 21 days of crystal heartenings up for those of you who have not, maybe haven't finished all of them or just getting started today. So I will have this up through the 22nd of January for you to go back and take your time and cover the days, or even start the whole process again, so you can get a full 21-day run. So we'll leave them that after that point. They will be membership only. So definitely get in there and get your fix while they're up there. And like I said, even if you just contribute for a little bit for 1 month, I would really, really appreciate it. And actually, there are some special gifts that will be coming for the first people who do contribute to Patreon. Again, right now, because a lot of this stuff isn't set up yet, we have some launches coming again around the 22nd of January. But know that the people that are contributing initially, I've got some special prizes for you coming up exclusively for you. So anyone who contributes now through the end of January, I've got some special prizes coming up for you. So definitely join on, and I will see you mañana. This is happy last day of 2020 for those of you who are in this timeline still. Those of you who are already on the other side, I'll be there in a matter of hours. Looks like about 12 hours or so. So I'll see you on the flip side tomorrow at 11 a.m. again Pacific for the last day for the party to round it all up. And I'm going to see if I could take some Q&A. You all are welcome if you have some questions. I'll stay on a little bit longer. If you have some Q&A, we'll do that. See how that goes. And I think that's about it. Happy New Year, all. And for those of you who are watching this in the future now, Happy New. It's interesting when they say new you, just happy unveiling of the new aspect of yourself, right? So see you tomorrow. Peace and blessings all. Have a great one.